What's going on YouTube? Today we are back with another video. Today we're going to react to some trades from Bleacher Report, CBS Sports, and ESPN. Let's go ahead and dive in. First one we got is Bleacher Report. Get this damn ad out of the way. Week 6 trade block big board. Trey Hendrickson, Chris Olave. Less than a month away from the NFL trade deadline, which means this year's flurry of deals could begin at any time. Here you'll find your top 10 trade targets ranked based on upside, past production, positional value, contract status, likely availability, projected price point, recent buzz, blase, blase, blase. All right. Russell Wilson, quarterback for the New York Giants. Let's get this out of here. Can't. All right. Projected trade value, conditional 2026 6th-round pick for the boy Dangerous. Hype surrounding rookie quarterback Jack Dart took a bit of a hit with the New York Giants loss to the Saints. Yeah, this makes Wilson a logical trade chip if New York can find a interested partner. The problem is that any potential market for the 36-year-old took a hit when Cleveland Browns traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals. However, Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo reported late last month that Wilson expected to draw trade interest before the deadline. Potential suitors, the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders, man. As much as I love Geno, even though he's a freaking West Virginia Mountaineer, they need some help. That team, they struggling behind Geno for real. Next, Greg Newsome II, Cleveland Browns cornerback. Conditional 2026 4th-round pick. The Browns, New York Jets, and Saints are all expected by multiple info sources to be sellers ahead of the deadline. That's unsurprising since the three teams have a combined 2 wins between them. Damn. For the Browns, trading quarterback Greg Newsome ahead of the deadline would make sense. Yes, he's one of the Cleveland's defensive starters, and his defense is the only thing that has made the Browns competitive this season. Potential suitors, the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'd like to see that for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just because I like like watching the Buccaneers play. Shout out Baker Mayfield. Big Bake fan. Alvin Kamara, running back, New Orleans Saints. Conditional 2026 4th-round pick. The Saints picked up their first win of the season on Sunday, besting the Giants while keeping standout running back Alvin Kamara. I want to move. Whoa, not that. I'm going to move myself because I don't want this video to get copyright for whatever this is over here. Yeah. Moving Kamara, who has recorded 17 receptions for 360 scrimmage yards and a touchdown, would likely bring a quality return. There's a chance Kamara would be a cap casualty next offseason. Anyway, New Orleans is projected to be $18.8 million over the salary cap and could save $8.5 million by releasing the 30-year-old with the post-June 1st designation in the spring. With Keandre Miller taking over the biggest role in the offense, he received more carries than Kamara in Week 5. The Saints have a chance to make a move. Potential suitors: the Kansas City Chiefs, boo. Los Angeles Chargers, yeah. With Marion Hampton being out with injury and then losing Najee Harris to injury, they could use as much help as running back as they could. So, yeah, I like this for the Chargers. And I like to root for the Chargers occasionally because I like me some Justin Herbert and some Keenan Allen. And I do like Derwin James a lot as well. Next, the New York Jets and Breece Hall. Projected trade value 2026 3rd-round pick. That's not too much of an asking price. It's hard to judge Glenn and general manager Dan Moogies too harshly until they've had time to put their own spin on the roster. Expect the Jets to part with multiple players from the former regime. Running back Breece Hall is one of those. He's also an impeding 2026 free agent who is likely to part in the offseason anyway. While Braylon Allen's knee injury would make it a little tougher for New York to justify moving, its starting back building for the future should be top priority. Hall has 24 has 2 seasons with 1,300 plus scrimmage yards on his resume. Potential suitors: Arizona Cardinals and the fucking Chiefs again. I'm cool with the Cardinals. They're dealing with a lot of injuries, losing Trey Benson and James Conner. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Reek Woolen, quarterback, Seahawks. 2026 4th-round pick, conditional. Reek Woolen is only 26, has 51 starts on his resume, has logged 11 interceptions and 42 passes defended as a pro. However, Seattle could be more interested in moving him than extending the impending 2026 free agent. Woolen's playing time has diminished, and in contract year, teams believe he could be available. Potential suitors, the Lions, and the Ravens. Don't send his ass to the Ravens, whatever you do. Kayvon Thibodeau, edge, New York Giants. Projected trade value, 2026, second-round pick, dang, and or starting caliber receiver. Malik Neighbors sitting in injury, the Giants need receiver help. Offense and Jackson Dart struggled with Neighbors out of the lineup week 5. Trading pass rusher for Kayvon Thibodeau might just help New York land a pass catcher. Since adding Brian Brendan and Abdul Carter, who are now his top 2 sacks artists. However, Thibodeau should still bring a premium return. He's still young, has logged 2.5 sacks and 8 quarterback pressures this season, is under contract on a rookie deal for 2 more seasons. Hell yeah. Thibodeau is set to play on the 5th-year option 2026. Potential suitors, San Fran and Tampa Bay. Yeah, San Fran's defense their whole team is just depleted with injuries. Julian Phillips, edge, Miami Dolphins. Conditional 2026 4th-round pick. Teams in need of a pass rushing help might be able to pry Julian Phillips away from the Miami Dolphins for a reasonable price. They fell to 1-4 on Sunday and appear close to all but quitting on the season. Dolphins truly felt dejected after blowing a 17-0 lead and losing to Carolina. Potential suitors, the Bengals and the Cowboys. Cowboys makes more sense. I think the Bengals are going to kind of hold tight on their depleted season. David Njoku, tight end, Cleveland Browns. Conditional 2026 4th-round pick. Tight end Njoku continues to be one of Cleveland's most reliable offensive players, but he's also one of the Browns' most sensible trade chips. With Harold Fannin has impressed and appears poised to take over as Cleveland's long-term starting tight end. Through 5 weeks, Rick has caught 21 passes for 173 yards and a touchdown. Njoku has caught 24-195 in the score. Potential suitors, the Chargers and the Niners. Yeah, the Niners could use some tight end help with Kittle being out. Trey Henderson, edge, Cincinnati Bengals. 2026 second-round pick. It's crazy they extend him just for him to be a trade chip again. That's crazy. Bengals clearly still believe they can stay in the playoff hunt until late in the season when Joe Burrow may be able to return from a toe injury. That's the only reason for Tuesday's trade to acquire Joe Flacco from the rival Browns. Still, the Bengals probably view the veteran as an upgrade over Browning, which will prevent them from being in full-on fire sale mode. Potential suitors, Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, we already know these 2 teams are suitors for an edge after trading away Michael Parsons. Chris Olave, wide receiver, one of the Saints, probably the Pittsburgh Steelers, because we need some wide receiver help for sure. Conditional 2026 1st-round pick. That's kind of steep. Well, if the Saints are looking to cash in veteran talent as part of the rebuild, wideout Chris Olave would be their top trade chip. 25-year-old has 1,000-yard seasons. On his resume, he appears to again be healthy after injuries limited him to 8 games in 2024. Olave should be high on the wish list of receiver need teams like the Patriots and the Steelers. Told you. I would like Olave on the Steelers, but I don't know if we want to give up a 1st-round pick. I don't know about that. On to the next one. Let's grade some of these first. Patriots, I gave it about 4.2 stars. Steelers, 5 stars because we need it. 4.5 for both of them. And Njoku for the Chief, 5 stars for both of them because they both need tight end help. Yep, 5 stars there. Those make sense. These make a lot of sense. I gave 3.5 here and 4.3 there. 4.5, 4.3, 4.5. 5.0, 4.5. 4.5, 5.0. Injuries, man. 4.5, 4.4. 2.5, 5.0. All right, to the next article. All right, this one's from CBS Sports. 2025 NFL trade deadline buzz. Jets, Breece Hall, Dolphins, Bradley Chubb among 7 key names to watch. 5 weeks of NFL season in the books. We're officially more than a quarter of the way through the regular season, which is crazy to believe. We're also one step closer to this year's trade deadline. Tuesday, November 4th, following week 9. All right. Plenty of scrappy playoff contenders like the Pittsburgh Steelers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers could be in the market for mid-year reinforcements. Meanwhile, plenty of struggling teams like the Saints and the Jets could be eyeing opportunities to accumulate draft resources for the future. With that in mind, here are 7 notable names to monitor. Russell Wilson. Yep. Potential landing spot, Raiders. Yeah, I could see that being the case. Breece Hall, Cardinals, Chargers, Chiefs. Yeah, all 3 of those make sense. Send him to the Chargers. Justin Herbert and Breece Hall. I like the way that sounds. Now, send him to the Cardinals, I guess, because, once What are they going to do once his contract's up? Jacoby Myers, Steelers, Falcons, Cardinals, yeah. Myers requested a trade, yeah. Geno Smith has been throwing pick after pick. Brandon Cooks, Broncos, Jags, Steelers. He's just kind of old. Njoku, Chargers, Commanders. I like him with the Commanders. Rams. Bradley Chubb, Broncos, Colts, Eagles. Jalen Phillips, Eagles, Jaguars, Raiders. There's some feet on the screen. All right, let's read some of these. If the Dolphins are going to keep one of Chubb or Phillips, there's some long-term reason for it to be the latter. So as he's roughly 3 years younger, but what if Miami's concerned about committing big bucks to a guy who's struggled to stay healthy when Chubb is currently reaffirming his place as a defensive leader? Rather than wait for Phillips to test free agency after the season, perhaps the Dolphins would sell the former first-round draft pick as a mid-season rental for a team in need of added pass-rushing juice. Okay. Chubb. Miami has a potential predicament at pass rush, both Chubb and Phillips. More on him below. Cornerstones on the defensive front, and the former is leading the charge with 4 sacks in 5 games this year. Chubb is also approaching 30. I hate when they 30s. I'm 30. With a significant injury history and an expensive price tag for 2026 and beyond. Dealing him would further strip an ailing Miami defense of his remaining talent, but as 1-4, the Dolphins might be careening towards another overhaul as it stands. Yeah, I really like Njoku with the Commanders. Cleveland suddenly has become a light of under center thanks to rookie Dylan Gabriel's composed first start. Has a beacon of light, Njoku played a big role in Gabriel's first extended NFL action. Hey, on my Superstar mode, if you're not watching, you need to go to the Mad Superstar mode and watch the 2 videos. Me and Njoku, I played for the Browns, me and Njoku locked in. Njoku played a big role in Gabriel's first extended NFL action. 2 collecting 6 passes for 67 yards and a score in Week 5. Still, as a pending free agent, the veteran tight end has unclear future with the franchise. That's especially the case with rookie Harold Fannin Jr. emerging as a fellow pass-catching threat at the position. Njoku might welcome a chance to work in a tandem for an actual contender. Yeah, Chargers, Commanders, Rams. Yeah, I don't hate none of those. Brandon Cooks. The Cooks who once dominated as a multi-purpose weapon in New Orleans is long gone. The veteran is now 32 and sparingly used as a short yardage outlet. Still, Cooks has a history of bouncing around as a plug-and-play fill-in, and other clubs might like his experience for a late-year push. The Saints, meanwhile, are in full rebuild mode as Spencer Rattler holds down the fort at quarterback. They have little reason to retain Cooks beyond 2025, and it's possible they could still get a pick for his services. Broncos, Jaguars, Steelers. Steelers, Jacoby Myers, I'd be cool with Jacoby Myers. Myers requested a trade prior to the season before accepting his fate as Las Vegas' most trusted perimeter target. The Raiders don't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon. However, with Geno Smith throwing pick after pick as Pete Carroll's hand-picked veteran quarterback, is Carroll ready to wave the white flag on this first year in silver and black? Probably not, but Myers isn't likely to stick around for the long term anyway. He might be of more value to a team that can still dream of a playoff push. Cardinals, Falcons, Steelers, all 3 of those make sense. New York declined to give much thought to a potential Hall trade prior to the season, preferring to keep the backfield well stocked. Now the Jets are 0-5, and while fellow running back Braylon Allen's injury has guaranteed an uptick in action, time is running out for Aaron Glenn's squad to even sniff relevance in 2025. Fresh off a 100-yard outing in Week 5, isn't it possible how Hall actually has more value to Gang Green as a trade chip, considering he's due to hit free agency after the season anyways? Cardinals, Chargers, Chiefs, yeah, all 3 of those teams, they need some running back help. Because what happened to Pacheco, bro? New York is reportedly no rush to move on from Wilson after benching the veteran for rookie Dart. But what if there's one team desperate enough for a last gasp quarterback help? The Bengals seem like a perfect landing spot for Wilson until they pull the trigger on dealing for Flacco. With Cincy out of the mix, how about a reunion with Pete Carroll? I thought he was going to end up there in the first place. The Raiders are off to a 1-4 start under turnover-prone Geno Smith with Kenny Pickett waiting in the wings. I didn't even know Kenny Pickett was with the Raiders. Did you guys know that? Because I for damn sure didn't know that. For damn sure. All right, this is for NFL 2025 NFL Trade Need Tracker. Every team's top priority entering Week 6. All right, AFC East. Buffalo Bills help in run defense. Buffalo's defense has been stamped thus far, missing far too many tackles. If this continues, teams will play keep away from Josh Allen. Health has not worked in the Bills' favor. The return of Matt Milano in Week 5 was short-lived as he aggravated the pectoral injury and had kept him out. Fellow linebacker Dorian Williams is also banged up. Dang. Patriots, edge. Safety and corner depth stood out previously as glaring needs, and the Pats could still use help there, but the edge spot opposite Harold Landry has been an issue. Against Buffalo in Week 5, New England generated 12 quarterback pressures per next-gen stats, and of those, 7 came from the defensive interior with Landry and Elijah Ponder being the only contributors from the edge. The Pats got next to nothing from Keon White and Clavon Chassian, injured. Miami Dolphins. Cap space. Tyreek Hill's devastating knee injury wiped one potential trade chip off the board. Still, the Dolphins spent the offseason team to get their future financials in order, and their latest collapse against Carolina underscores the need for the reset to continue. Future free agents like Jalen Phillips could be trade bait to help build up draft capital as well. New York Jets draft assets. Another dismal loss showed just how much earlier the Jets are in the rebuild than some impatient New York Jets fan might want to believe. Gang Green is projected to have a good chunk of cap space for the next year, $74.8 million. Damn. They're currently set to have 6 draft picks, 4 of which will come on day 3. Dang. The Jets could be clear sellers. Then again, outside of Breece Hall, there aren't obvious free agents to put on the block. AFC North linebackers. Linebackers? I think we have a really good linebacker core. But let's read it. Aside from Peyton Wilson's stellar appearance in Dublin, he has struggled in coverage. We're not yet at the panic point with the Steelers defense, but as now I lean forward Pittsburgh adding a defender over continuing to seek wide receiver 2. No, we need a wide receiver 2 because as it stands, we didn't have anyone to replace. I mean, we do, but we don't at the same time. Calvin Austin, as much as I love him, is a more legit wide receiver 3 than he is a wide receiver 2, and when he goes down, we don't really have anybody to replace him. I mean, we have Roman Wilson, but we haven't seen much of him at all. Sorry, short rant. Bengals, offensive line. Yeah, even after Bengals' surprise acquisition of Joey Flacco, the same need that has existed in perpetuity in Cincinnati remains. The entire offensive line has struggled in 2025, with youngsters Amarius Mims and Dalen Fairchild in particular having a rough go. If the 40-year-old Flacco is to have any hope of doing anything in place of Joe Burrow and Jake Browning, he'll need a functioning unit in front of him. Yeah. Defensive line. I love it. Baltimore's performance without Lamar on Sunday underscored his performance when it comes to masking overfalls. Sorry, I thought I misread that. Injury ravaged D, with Kyle Hampton being the latest playmaker to hit the traders table, continues to be the biggest issue. Even Kyle Van Noy's return delivered will help the Ravens slow a Texans offense that had otherwise been stuck in the mud most of the season. Harbaugh suggested a week ago that he trusted the rest of the roster to step up in a slew of injuries. That hope appears to be running on empty, a fact bellied by the acquisition of safety Gilman in exchange for Adafe Owe, who has yet to log a single sack this season. Defense needs more help and bearing additional moves that will be true when Jackson eventually returns. Cleveland Doodle Browns. Yes, Dylan Gabriel avoided committing a turnover, but we need to see more of the rookie quarterback for the balance of the season. Colts cornerback. Yeah, Xavier Howard did retire. Stepped in after Mike Hilton's shoulder. Jaguars edge depth. Yeah, Jags' first game this season signs Trayvon Walker underscored their lack of pass rush with no Jacksonville player generating more than 2 quarterback pressures on Mahomes and the team relying on blitzes to get the quarterback off his spot. Texans offensive line. Yeah, get that boy CJ Stroud some help. Tennessee Titans draft assets. Yeah, got to build for the future behind Cam Ward. Offensive line, yeah, because Rashawn Slater's out and Joe Alt is hurt and Mekhi Belton's hurt. Damn, their whole offensive line is hurt. Yeah. Broncos, linebackers. I mean, their defense has been pretty good to this point, but yeah. Pass rush, yes. Defense everywhere. Damn. Sorry, Raiders fans. Eagles cornerback with an injury and sat behind Khalid Adore Jackson struggled before he missed week 4 with an injury. Jacoby Bennett is on injured reserve. Ringo has missed 4 tackles in 2 weeks since. Adding a veteran corner to stabilize the group and ensure Cooper DeJean sticks as a Swiss Army knife would be beneficial. Yeah. Secondary, yeah, their secondary is bad. Safety for the Cowboys. Draft picks and cap space. Okay. Lions, cornerback, yeah. Beef inside, okay. If you had, whatchamacallit, you probably wouldn't need to do that. But, whatever. Offensive line, yes. Help with run defense, probably. Offensive line, yeah. Draft assets, yeah. Defensive front, yeah. Draft assets, go ahead and send us Olave. Edge, for sure, because Bosa's out. Defensive depth, yeah. Cornerback, yeah. Broken clavicle, damn. Cardinals, Arizona line. Offensive line, yeah, I agree with a lot of these. These teams are struggling. We're struggling to get through first 5 weeks. All right, final one. This one is from NFL Trade Rumors, the website, updated midseason 2025 trade blog. From now until the NFL trade deadline on November 4th, the Tuesday following the conclusion of Week 9, we'll be taking a look around the league at all different players. The Cubs finally won. All right. Tuesday following the conclusion, yeah, potential will be available on the trade block using the info from beat reporters. First edition of the trade block was last week, and already there have been some monumental changes. The biggest was the loss of number one potential trade target, Tyreek Hill. All right, a lot of removed Tyreek Hill, added Alvin Kamara, yeah, Roschon Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Mark Andrews. I've seen a lot of that. Trey Hendrickson, we've seen a lot of that already. Trayvon Diggs, wow. Michael Carter, quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson. I don't think anybody's buying into the Kirk Cousins because of the price tag. Running backs, Kamara, Jalen Wright, Jaleel McLaughlin, Keaton Mitchell, Jerome Ford, Damian Pierce, Raheem Marshall, or Zamir White, Roschon Johnson. Receivers, Jacoby Myers, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett, or Von Jefferson. No Chris Olave? Huh. Tight end, Mark Andrews, David Njoku, and Tanner Hudson. Offensive line, Evan Neal. Defensive tackle, Shelby Harrison, Leggett, Ogunjobi. Edge rushers, Trey Hendrickson, Bradley Chubb, or Jalen Phillips, Alex Wright, or Joe. Yep. And for Anthony Jennings and Darrell Taylor. What else? Linebackers, Willie Gay, Jerome Baker, and Jelani Tavahi. Corners, Trayvon, Michael Carter II, Reek Woolen, Joshua Williams. We saw some Reek Woolen already. Safeties, Kyle Duggar, Tony Adams, Quandre Diggs, or Xavier Woods. Nick Scott. And that concludes it. All right, so that'll wrap up the video. Thought I'd get you a little short, 20-plus minute video going over some potential trades that could happen going forward. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tune in to more videos coming soon. Until next time, peace.